Since the industrial era began, human activities have led to the release of dangerous levels of greenhouse gases, causing global warming and climate change. However, despite unequivocal research on the impact of human activities on the planet's climate and growing awareness of the severe danger climate change poses to our societies, greenhouse gas emissions keep rising. To this end, Borno State government, as part of effort to mitigate the effect of climate change on the environment, is advancing sustainable mode of transportation, hence the procurement of electric cars for public transportation to help reduce emissions. Measures were also taken to reduce deforestation, which is key for climate mitigation, as there is ongoing tree planting campaign across the state, among other measures put in place. This shall be a focus on Panorama from the studio of NTA Maiduguri this afternoon. I am Abubakar Musa. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, and the Sheikh of Borno, Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El-Kanemi, have called for robust synergy between citizens and security agencies in the area of intelligence gathering for the country to win the fight against insurgency, banditry, and other security challenges. The monarchs, at the 5th anniversary of the Emir of Lafia, Nasarawa State, urged traditional rulers to complement government's effort by protecting peaceful and harmonious coexistence in their domains. Aliu Tijani will now tell us more.
It's a convergence of royal fathers from the north, south and west, with solidarity of their counterpart across the Niger, who met in Lafia, in their commitment to building bridges of unity and sustained conversations for a united Nigeria. Issues of insecurity, poverty and education resonate as the traditional rulers are unanimous in supporting government effort in tackling insecurity through sustained engagement with their subjects, promote community policing, and monitor influx of suspicious persons in their environment. The Sultan of Sokoto and the Sheikh of Borno emphasized that winning the war against insurgency and banditry, among other security challenges, requires collective effort.
Our governors need to work. They are working, but Nigerians are in a hurry.
The only permanent solution to these our problems are two. One, prayers. Two, to provide useful and credible information to the law enforcement agencies.
For us in Nasarawa State, we are forever grateful to our traditional rulers for their support, for their kindness. Because with the support, we are able to see a lot of progress, a lot of development going on.
Treated to a Doba depicting royalty and cultural heritage. Dignitaries were also introduced to the first museum of the Lafia Emirate Council. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Security now. The Minister of Police Affairs, Ibrahim Gaidam, has advised core members serving in the ministry to champion the crusade against internet fraud that affects the image of the country. The minister stated this during presentation of report on the role of core members in improving policing in Nigeria at a meeting with NYSC members serving in the ministry in Abuja. Francis Form has more.
These are core members serving in the Ministry of Police Affairs, and the gathering is to celebrate their creativity, research towards finding a lasting solution to some of the country's numerous insecurity problems.
Remember that you are not just serving the Ministry of Police Affairs, you are serving the people of Nigeria.
The core members focus on different issues, including climate change, insecurity, the economy, fighting cybercrime, and Interpol and its role on effective crime control, amongst others. In another development, Minister of Police Affairs says Nigeria is committed to working closely with Brazil to ensure a fair and transparent Interpol election process that upholds the principles of democracy and accountability. This was when the minister hosted the Interpol General Secretary aspirant in his office in Abuja.
And we believe that his experience and dedication make him a strong candidate for the position of the Secretary General.
The two nations have worked together on various fronts, including economic development, cultural exchange, counter-terrorism, transnational crime, and cybersecurity. Francis from NTA News.
From that now, media should continue to play a crucial role in checking the excesses of those in government, help in exposing corruption and abuse of power, while helping to prevent authoritarianism and promote adherence to the rule of law. This was the consensus at the Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Freedom and Good Governance Awards 2024. Haman Jabani reports that Director General of Nigerian Television Authority, Saliu Abdul Hamid Dembos, was honored with the Good Governance Award Mass Mobilization.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists Press Freedom and Good Governance Award is aimed not only to celebrate the outstanding achievements of journalists and advocates of press freedom, but also to recognize the vital link between press freedom and good governance in a democratic society. It is in the light of this that speakers reminded participants that the Constitution mandates the media to hold government accountable, operate freely, and be protected because it is crucial for good governance. Nevertheless, media practitioners must operate responsibly by taking adequate steps to report accurate, objective, and balanced news, while the doctrine of fairness is considerably reflected in their reportage.
I strongly believe that for a vibrant, and free press to thrive in any nation, including our country, Nigeria, there is the need for an enabling legal environment and efficient judicial system.
We all have a role to play in democracy. Democracy must be defended. Good governance is a very simple way of defending democracy.
Borno is transitioning from crisis reporting for journalists to stabilization reporting. Journalists have been granted the free space to operate, and even some outstanding journalists have been asked to join government.
Let us recognize that press freedom is not a privilege but a right. Let us therefore pledge to defend and protect freedoms that we hold dear.
The event honored media honors, political and public office holders who have actively supported press freedom and significantly contributed to the development of Nigeria. Among them is the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, who received the Good Governance Award Mass Mobilization. Pauline Kujevana of NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center as torchbearer of Press Freedom Award, and many other recipients for different categories. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Self-Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris has reaffirmed the federal government's sustained commitment to safeguarding press freedom, promoting diverse opinions, and protecting the rights of journalists. This was at an event organized by the Nigeria Union of Journalists to commemorate the year 2024 World Press Freedom Day. Saliu Gwanara completes the story.
In addition to their roles in the development of any democratic society, members of the pen profession have been reminded to reflect and sustain the sacrifices of their founding fathers and endeavor to be critical partners in nurturing democracy.
Press freedom is very important to uphold. Freedom of expression is something that nobody should toy with. But I keep telling us also and reminding us that your freedom also has to come with enormous responsibility. You cannot allow purveyors of what is called fake news to occupy your space. It is so easy for anybody now to pick his pen or to pick his phone or his computer and say something or write something that will put this country in a problem.
The federal government says it is conscious of the fundamental importance of a free and independent press in fostering democracy, promoting transparency, and safeguarding human rights, and therefore wants journalists to reciprocate this gesture by protecting the excesses of misinformation and disinformation.
As members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, what they do is very important for our democracy. We'll continue to strive to encourage them, to support them, and to ensure that the press is always given the free space for them to practice their profession.
Nigeria's democracy under the renewed hope, the minister assured is government by the friends of the media and for the media. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Panorama on the Nigerian Television Authority. Let's take a break here. More reports for you shortly.
The Council of Our Fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
To have you back. Talking of stability in Borno State, environmental preservation is being given the much needed attention in making both resettled and host communities safe and resilient. Various mechanisms aimed at mitigating the effects of climate change for responsible production and consumption have been put in place by the state government. Zainab Adam now reports.
Worried by the irregular weather pattern due to the effects of climate change being experienced, Borno State government has prioritized economic development and raising the standard of living of its people by actively supporting the development of small enterprise sector, considering their importance in creating employment opportunities and sustainable communities. To this end, environmental preservation is at the heart of Borno State government with different mechanisms put in place. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum recently made a pledge to plant 10 million trees in the state towards mitigating the effects of climate change, especially now that the state is witnessing intense hot weather conditions. Already, 3 million seedlings are currently being nurtured at State Central Nursery, located at Damboa Road in Maiduguri, the state capital. Different varieties of seedlings are also available at other nurseries across the state, making up the total of 10 million plants in all.
We soak some seeds and treat others with chemicals before planting and water them for like 3 to 4 months. Afterwards, people can come pick the plant free of charge for onwards planting in their communities.
There's a collaboration between the state government, the civil society, and those who has like minds. Their thematic area covers climate change.
Apart from planting, protecting, and nurturing the plants, the state government has also introduced electric vehicles in the state capital, and LPG filling stations are to be sited across the 27 local government areas of the state as part of measures to mitigate the effect of climate change. In Maiduguri, Zainab Adam, NTA News.
Addressing effect of climate change Addressing effect of climate change is one of the most urgent challenges of our lifetime. Therefore, government at various levels have continued to take measures in minimizing its effect, especially on the environment. Now, to discuss environmental preservation towards mitigating effect of the climate change in Borno, I have with me the Director, Forestry, Borno State Ministry of Environment, Ayuba Peter Shua. Sir, you are welcome to this particular segment.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I'm happy to meet you too.
Okay, happy to meet you either.
Thank you.
Now, take us through the Go Green initiative in the state.
Thank you very much. Go Green initiative in the state is a step taken by the present administration led by Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, MNI FNSE since assuming power in 2019 to restore the lost vegetation as a result of the insurgents. When it came into power, it discovered that most of the vegetation that we have, especially even those government have spent millions of nairas in establishing them, have been cleared. And the area has been completely bare, and wind velocity has been very high. The climate has been increasing. Desert was fast encroaching. So the only alternative was to sit down and say, okay, let us address these things holistically. Let us embark on massive tree planting campaign. And that is actually what the Go Green initiative is all about, is to see how it can green the state through massive tree planting.
Interesting, I must say. Now, how is the tree planting campaign progressing?
Tree planting campaign in the state has been going fine and good. Since its introduction in 2019, we have been having the annual tree planting campaign every year. And we have been planting a lot of seedlings, quite all right. In 2019, we planted about 1 million seedlings. 2020, the same thing. 2021, I think we had about 2 million. And 2022, 2023, we planted about 4. This year, we are targeting 10 million seedlings. Though actually in the past few years that we have been planting, though it has been very successful, but there are some challenges here and there. Some communities have not been accessible because of some pockets of insurgency. But with the improvement we're having in the state now, I think most of the places that are degraded are going to be restored. So many communities have been displaced, and the vegetation around those communities have been completely cleared. And that is why we are experiencing high windstorm. We are experiencing the fast encroachment of the desert. We are now experiencing the high climate change we have in the state. The temperature is at the extreme. So there is no way, there is no other thing the government can do than to sit down and say, okay, let us address this holistically. Because the trees are the carbon sink, and these are the places where you can now maybe find as an adaptation to climate change. There is nowhere you can now go and sit down. If you see some communities in the state now, you can hardly find 2 or 3 trees standing because all the trees have been cleared. So by this year now, we are now embarking on massive tree planting campaign. And as you have seen...
No going back.
No going back. We just have to. And already all arrangement has been made. The seedlings are almost matured. They are going to be planted in good time. And these seedlings are also of drought-tolerant tree species that if they can have that moisture for 2 or 3 months, that rainfall, they don't need any other maybe form of watering in the dry season. So with this good tree species selection that we have made, I think we have the belief that we are going to succeed and turn Borno into green again.
Okay, that's actually good to hear. Now, Director, let's talk about this. Do we have a workable climate action plan in the state that helps in preserving the environment?
Actually, in the Borno State 25-year development framework, there is that climate action plan. And that is what the state government has now started implementing. If you can see, if you walk around the town now, you can see all the street lights that were hitherto powered by generators are now turned into solar powered. That will go a long way in reducing the emission of the greenhouse gases. The water treatment plants that consumes thousands of liters of diesel every day has now been converted to solar powered. So also You can see some rechargeable cars, taxis, that were procured by the state government. These are all efforts towards implementing the climate action plan to achieve the net zero emission of carbon dioxide.
Net zero emission?
Net zero emission.
Okay, what's that? Can you simplify it?
Net zero emission means the carbon dioxide, the amount of carbon dioxide that you are producing and the amount that you are observing is equal. That means you are no longer adding anything.
All right. Okay. We're actually running out of time. So just briefly, sir, what are you doing to checkmate the activities of few companies we have towards responsible production that is that is eco-friendly, in just one word?
Okay, we have been having engagement with them, and we have been advising them, especially together with some federal government agencies that are empowered for the enforcement of laws that govern these kind of activities. The NESRIA, the Environmental Impact Assessment Department, and the Federal Ministry of Environment. We have been engaging the management of all the companies that we have in the town. And in fact, we have educated them, and we have told them the need for them to join the state government to achieve the net zero emission in the near future.
Our best wishes to you.
Thank you.
Ayuba Peter Shua, Director, Forestry, Borno State Ministry of Environment. We really appreciate you for being part of Panorama this afternoon, and do enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you very much.
Away from that now, Borno State government has announced plan to sell 2 government-owned estates in Maiduguri on owner-occupier basis. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum announced decision to dispose the estates when the state's high-powered committee on the disposal of government properties presented its report to him at the council chamber of the government house, Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni was there.
The 2 estates are Mustafa Umar Legacy along Maiduguri Damaturu Road and the former CBN quarters, which was procured by the state government located on the Mboa Road, Maiduguri. Professor Zulum appreciated the committee for a thorough job and assured the members of immediate implementation of the outcome of the committee's report. The governor directed the committee to continue with the implementation of the report by selling CBN quarters and legacy estate on owner-occupier basis.
I want you to examine who are government officials, and then let's see how we can dispose the quarters to government officials, while the others should be given opportunity to pay their own money.
The governor also informed that government will sell 4 other estates that include Bakasi, Gubio Road Estate, Teachers Village and Fertilizer Plant estates previously occupied by IDPs after taking a stand on the condition of the estates. Governor Zulum, however, directed that Teachers Village will only be purchased by teachers who are residing within Maiduguri and Jere local government areas. The committee chairman, Bello Auru, expressed gratitude to the governor for finding them worthy to serve the state. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Let's now join our sports desk for the latest in the world of sports, and Suleiman Musa shall be our guide.
We begin with Super Eagles coach. The new Super Eagles coach, Finidi George, has emphasized the need for Super Eagles to triumph over the 2 important World Cup qualifying matches against South Africa and Benin Republic early next month. Finidi George reacted after his brief meeting with the NFF in Abuja, as the visit was to acquaint him with the workings of the football house and also to have a one-on-one discussion with his employers. In another development, defending champions Golden Eaglets of Nigeria will face Burkina Faso in their opening fixture at the Wafu B Under-17 Championship. Manu Garba's side will take on Togo in their second game on Sunday, May 19. Their last group game against Togo is scheduled for Accra Stadium on Wednesday, May 22. The finalists will represent the zone at the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations. Still talking football, Real Madrid claimed a record 36 title on Saturday after a 3-0 win over Cadiz before Barcelona lost to Catalan rival Girona 4-2. After the weekend's fixtures, Barcelona were left on 73 points, meaning Los Blancos had an unassailable lead on the table with 4 games to go. The battle for second place will continue, as with Girona now ahead of Barcelona with 74 points. And to a little bit of athletics, Nigerian squad